Welcome into BPN today, everybody. My name is Benson Fector, and I will be the host of your show. We got a brand new show coming at you at the Baseball Podcast Network. Rather than doing BPN Weekly, which was the Sunday night sort of national talk where we discuss the week that was in baseball and give you a standings breakdown, that type of deal, we're going to be doing mainly a daily show here on the Baseball Podcast Network, so you can get your baseball fix nationally every single day. It will generally be an hour, but we'll go as long as the news takes us, and we'll try to get you every day. But as the second half begins today, we at the Baseball Podcast Network thought it would be a good idea to give you these daily podcasts as the pennant race heats up, the playoff hunt starts to tighten, the rumors start swirling. It's going to be fun, and it all starts today. We're going to start talking about the AllStar Game, the AllStar Week, and what transpired there. A starting pitcher for the Cleveland Indians was named the most valuable player of the 90th Major League Baseball All-Star Game from Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio on Tuesday. After throwing a perfect fifth inning with 3 strikeouts, Shane Bieber of Orange, California received the honor. Bieber threw 19 pitches in the 5th inning, of which 11 pitches were strikes. He struck out Chicago Cubs catcher Wilson Contreras, Arizona Diamondbacks second baseman Ketel Marte, and Atlanta Braves center fielder Ronald Acuna Jr. as the American League beat the National League 4-3. Bieber became the first Major League Baseball player since Pedro Martinez of the Boston Red Sox in 1999 to win the Major League Baseball All-Star Game Most Valuable Player award in his home ballpark. The only other player in Major League Baseball history to accomplish that particular feat was Sandy Alomar Jr. of the Cleveland Indians in 1997. It was the last time the Major League Baseball All-Star Game took place in Cleveland. The Indians' right-handed pitcher was also one of 3 American League pitchers in the game to strike out 3 National League players in 1 inning. Liam Hendriks of the Oakland Athletics accomplished the feat in the 6th inning, and Aroldis Chapman of the New York Yankees struck out 3 in the 9th inning while picking up the save. However, it should be noted that Hendriks' inning was not perfect as he gave up a home run to Colorado Rockies right fielder Charlie Blackmon. 8 different American League players recorded a hit in the contest. The most valuable player could have easily gone to Texas Rangers left fielder Joey Gallo, who had a key home run in the 7th inning with 2 out off of Will Smith of the San Francisco Giants. The American League had 2 other extra base hits as Michael Brantley of the Houston Astros had a double in the 2nd inning, and Gary Sanchez of the New York Yankees had a double in the 5th inning. And, I mean, the only real gripe that fans could have over the All-Star Game MVP award, really, I think Joey Gallo was probably deserving of the award, and I'd go as far to say if this event was not in Cleveland, then I believe Joey Gallo probably would have won this award. And I'm pretty sure that the All-Star Game MVP award is done by fan voting, and again, with this event being in Cleveland, a lot of that goes to Shane Bieber ultimately winning the All-Star Game MVP award. A couple other candidates that could have gotten it: Chapman, pitching the 9th, Michael Brantley, Gary Sanchez, Liam Hendriks, maybe an outside shot there. But definitely the 2 that really came down, for me at least, was between Shane Bieber and Joey Gallo. Ultimately, Shane Bieber in his home stadium, a really cool moment when he had Ronald Acuna Jr. 2 strikes in his inning of work when Progressive Field came to his feet. It sort of culminated the whole moment of the All-Star Week and really it was good press for baseball. And the whole week itself, with the Futures game on Sunday, the Home Run Derby on Monday, culminated with the All-Star Game on Tuesday. It was a fantastic week for baseball, and a week where baseball gets to shine in the national spotlight. Like nothing else in the sports world was really going on Monday and Tuesday nights with the Home Run Derby and the All-Star Game. It was baseball. Baseball had the spotlight. Now, certainly, baseball is the only sport that is in season in the summer, but there are still so many other things that go on in the summer, such as the NBA draft, NBA free agency, summer league. All of this gets the attention and the national spotlight, getting ready for the NFL season. That type of stuff is what gets talked about on the talk shows. But it was nice to see, if only for a minute, on Monday and Tuesday and a little bit on Wednesday, that baseball was talked about in a national conversation. On the networks, ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Sports, you name it, baseball was the big topic, and baseball did not disappoint this week. Cleveland did not disappoint this week. I had the privilege to attend the Home Run Derby on Monday at Progressive Field in Cleveland, and I have to say that was a fantastic moment, probably the best Home Run Derby baseball has ever had, when the ratings are at an all-time high for the event. Vlad Jr. putting on an absolute show. The epic semifinal battle we had between Vlad Jr. and Jock Peterson with the tiebreaker, then the two swing-offs, and it was just an awesome event to see, and the fans were all into it, and the players themselves did not disappoint either. They put on a show. Major League Baseball put on a show this week. Cleveland put on a show this week, and I don't know how that can be topped in 2020, but good luck, and I certainly do hope it does. But a fantastic All-Star game to boot as well, with the American League beating the National League for the 7th straight season by a score of 4-3. The American League continues just its utter and complete dominance over the NL in the past 2 decades now. They've just stomped the National League, for lack of a better term. And yeah, so now the second half of the season is set to begin tonight with only one game going on. We got the Rangers and the Astros set to square off, but all teams will be back in action tomorrow and for the weekend for the second half of baseball. Most teams are entering into around that game 90 mark, so there's still plenty of time, roughly 75 games to go for most teams, and it's going to be a extremely fun second half, especially that National League. It's just wide open. You look at the NL Central, top to bottom, first place Cubs, last place Reds, 4.5 games separate those teams. 4 teams are within 2.5 games of first place in the NL Central, and the wild card is just as wide open as well. It is going to be so fun down the stretch. A lot of good baseball, a lot of exciting baseball, a lot of cities that are going to be able to back their club into the pennant chase, and that's also good for baseball as well. Trade deadline coming up as well at the end of this month, so the rumors are going to start swirling, trades, deals are going to start being done, and if you recall, new rules, there's no waiver trades this year, so if your team is going to go out there and make a move, they're going to have to make it by that hard July 31st trade deadline. There's not going to be sort of like a Justin Verlander situation we had a couple years back with the Astros. Like, those moves cannot be happening because there's no longer a waiver trade deadline. July 31st is indeed the hard deadline. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and really baseball is now entering into its exciting phase of the season. The first half of the season is great, a lot of great moments, but as soon as we get past this All-Star game and into the home stretch, especially heading into the trade deadline, and then after the deadline, that's when baseball gets exciting. That's when sort of the men and the boys separate. And the National League, that may not happen. We know a couple of divisions that are pretty much going to happen. You got the Twins in the AL Central, you got the Yankees in the AL East, NL East, Braves, NL West, Dodgers, and then in the AL West, the Astros. But the NL Central, again, is wide open. There's 2 playoff spots in the NL, are especially wide open. The American League, that is still up for grabs as well. And again, the Midsummer Classic is definitely a springboard for it. And the rock and roll city in Cleveland did not disappoint. Again, I had the privilege to attend that Home Run Derby on Monday, check out Cleveland a little bit, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it was an amazing day. Definitely one of those days where you can just check it off your bucket list, because it was just such an awesome day filled with so many great memories that I will certainly cherish for the rest of my life. My first really All-Star, I didn't get a chance to go to the All-Star game on Tuesday, but really an All-Star experience, the first that I've had the privilege to attend, and I hope that I'll be able to attend some more in the future. But again, great job this week, baseball. Great job, Cleveland. You certainly did not disappoint, and I mean, cannot wait for the second half of the season to get underway. The Major League Baseball landscape in San Francisco is a contorted mismatch as we pause at the All-Star break to assess what the official plans and goals are for the Giants now and in the future. The upcoming MLB trade deadline is the first big test that President of Baseball Operations Farhan Zaidi will fully own since his hiring last offseason. After August 1st, this franchise will begin to have his DNA all over it, one way or another. What has been often painful to watch this season is the pull between what Zaidi obviously knows needs to be done and his attempts to also appease the team's skitterish fanbase and ownership group. Throughout the first half of the 2019 season, Zaidi's various comments and interviews in the San Francisco Chronicle form a tortured picture of someone trying to make a cake from scratch and at the same time give everyone a nice big slice. It's the "we want to be competitive now and rebuild for the future" drive we've occasionally heard since before spring training last March, which is ultimately a losing strategy consisting in equal parts of bad timing and false expectations. Make no mistake about it, Farhan Zaidi inherited in the Giants a badly damaged professional sports franchise, but also one with a distinguished pedigree and a celebrated history. The balancing act here for Zaidi has been to publicly smile and say the right things, while at the same time working in the background to reconstruct this failed organization from the foundation up. In the process, there are serious inbred difficulties to overcome, including a too compliant fan base and the local baseball media's relentless old-school bias. As I've noted before, over the last 10 years, Giants fans have been trained by the team's front office PR machine and their TV and radio broadcasters to value player personalities over player performance. To do otherwise, they suggest, means you're not a loyal Giants fan. Emphasizing that type of branding over baseball results in a lack of critical thinking and informed opinion, which is also the way the Giants front office historically approached their overall franchise strategy. For East Coast and Midwest baseball fans of teams like Boston, the Yankees, the Cubs, and St. Louis Cardinals, that kind of subservient fan relationship is not only distasteful, it is the ultimate in disloyalty. Those fan bases have only one bond and goal: winning baseball games and championships. Individual managers, players, or front office execs who don't get that done are, well, they're done. The SF Chronicle baseball media continues its pathetic guerrilla war against the information revolution, doing its best to incite old school fans to grab some torches and pitchforks whenever they hear the word analytics. You know you're headed into Neanderthal territory when some dense Bay Area media hack starts a sentence with, "Hey, you can throw out all the numbers." Right. Accurate measures of specific player and team performance are meaningless in baseball. Instead, just feed me another cute player story that involves either motor scooters, a funny impression, or some kind of clubhouse hijinks. Here's a couple of numbers to ponder at the All-Star break. The Giants are now 17.5 games back out of first place in the NL West with a 41-48 record. There are 9 teams ahead of them in the NL wildcard race. Their -70 run differential is second only to Miami, -87 in the National League. They are 27th out of 30 MLB teams in runs scored with 369. Only the Reds at 368, the Marlins at 312, and Detroit at 308 have scored less. Throughout the first half of the 2019 season, Farhan Zaidi spent a great deal of time tinkering with lineups, specifically trying to find a viable outfield setup that could provide decent defense. He found that in center fielder Kevin Pillar, a .256 average, 286 OBP, and a .436 slugging. Left fielder Alex Dickerson, a .362 average, .444 OBP, and a .787 slugging in 16 games. And right fielder Mike Yastrzemski, a .242 average, .292 OBP, and a .425 slugging. After 67 games, touted center fielder of the future Steven Duggar, .620 OPS, continues to not produce at the plate. He'll turn 26 this year and has been sent down to the minors. Zaidi also tinkered with a number of backup catching options in the early part of the season before settling on Stephen Vogt, a .252 average, .319 OBP, and a .456 slugging. The idea here was to find stabilizing pieces to get through what was obviously going to be a very difficult year, but the time for tinkering is over. Zaidi's ownage begins right now. So, what does Farhan Zaidi intend to do before the upcoming trade deadline? How far does he go to make a clean break from the dismal failures of the past 4 years? Here's the test. You'll know that Zaidi has pandered to the existing baseball culture in San Francisco if Madison